Hey guys, it's Maverick here. Welcome back for another episode of Yuukoku no Moriarty. So in this current arc, it's mostly a play on, the origins of Sherlock Holmes, right? In both the title of the arc and in the characters within the arc, as well as the setting of the arc. With the one twist being that it's actually all just part of a grand plan set up by Moriarty to test Sherlock Holmes to see if he is truly as smart as he gives off, right? The impression that he gives off. Now, the interesting thing here is that, so let's say Sherlock Holmes passes this with flying colors, which, we are all expecting him to pass this with flying colors. What's Moriarty gonna do next? Is he gonna be like, this guy is a big threat, I gotta take him out first, or something like that? Well, let's see how Sherlock gets himself out of this situation first. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And of course, in regards to how he's going to solve this mystery, Sherlock picked up a key piece of information last episode, near the scene of the crime. This dude. He's going off to stop the crime, or sorry, to catch the culprit, catch the murder. Again, though, I'm not sure if the entire I'm gonna frame Sherlock Holmes for a crime and whatnot. That really makes much sense. Now, however much leeway that he might have, once you're a suspect, you're not going to be allowed to do these kinds of things. But hey, it's an anime. Compared to, the ridiculousness that was episode, what was it, 6 or 7? This is something I can overlook. And then again, he believes him. Why would the inspector himself be holding the reins of the carriage, right? That also doesn't really make so much sense. But anyways. True.
才能もあるみてえだな。
Like, what if Sherlock Holmes turned into a crime consultant? Ooh.
すまない。しかし、あれだけはどうしても取り戻したい。命より大切なものなんだ。
大丈夫ですか？ブリクストン通りのローリストン
I do wonder though if the murderer didn't actually drop the ring, what would have happened then?
罠を仕掛けてきたか。
フレットを行かせていいんですか？劇にアドリブはつきものだよ。それにこれはホープの最後の願い。叶えてやってもいいだろう。
よし、餌は負けたな。これから何が起こるんだ？まあ見てなって。
ホームズ、みんなを集めてきたぜ。
君たちは？
俺はベーカーストリートイレギュラーズの隊長、ビギンズ。
ベーカーストリート。
I seem to recall this.
見ての通り、宿なしの小汚いガキ。
Sherlock likes to use the local boys as well.
うせ者探しから使いっ走りまで何でもこなす。なんせ町そのものが家なんだ。警察よりよっぽど役に立つぜ。ま、俺の手足みたいなもんだ。
古文扱いすんな。俺たちはただじゃ絶対動かねえからな。
わかったわかった。打賃は弾んでやるから一働き頼む。
シャーロック、彼らに何をさせる気なんだ？
ちょっとした手伝いさ。
ルーシーか。女性ものの結婚指輪。衣装から見て貴族のものではないな。シャーロックの推理ではこれは犯人が落としていったもの、つまり唯一の証拠品。犯人につながるものなら必ず取り返しに来るということだが、
指の太さから言って犯人は小柄な伯爵よりずっと大きい男だろう。
犯人が大柄な男。
So is it gonna be him or Fred?
新聞広告にあった指輪をいただきに参りました。
Oh, it's Fred.
私の娘、ルーシーのものでございます。
老婆？
指輪の内側に名前が刻まれておりましょう。
ええ。
娘からは3番地付近で落としたと聞いております。娘は昨年結婚したばかりで、大事な指輪をなくしたと知れば、あれの夫はひどく怒るでしょう。
Sure.
そうでしたか。
Take it.
ではこれを。
Oh, there's Sherlock. I feel like they should. Fred would obviously know that he's being tailed, though. So I feel like this is a trap within a trap, right? He's gonna disappear. Sherlock's gonna act like he lost her. And then now the street urchins come to play. Nope. Oh, okay, never mind.
さっきのやつが君の言う切れ者の黒幕なのか。
いや、あいつは黒幕の一味だろうな。
黒幕の一味。それじゃあ奴らはある種の組織なのか。
おそらくな。だが今は伯爵殺しの犯人を捕まえるのが先だ。
しかし手がかりだった指輪も奪われてしまったし。
Is that a fake ring?
何言ってんだジョン。殺しの方はもうじき解決だぜ。
Or again, is
伯爵殺しの真犯人が分かったのか。
まあ
一体どこのドイツなんだ。
ちょうどいい。あそこの店で待っててくれ。
what?
すぐに戻るからよ。
おい、シャーロック。
Okay, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do, but certainly has some sort of plan.
シャーロック、本当に犯人が分かったのか。すぐ教えてくれればいいものを。
行くぞ、ジョン。レストレードからこれが届いた。読んでみな。レストレードにはドレッバー伯爵の過去を調べてもらっていた。奴は無類の女好きで、特に身分の低い女性をいたぶるのがお好みのようで、相当ひどい目に遭わされたのもいたらしい。大抵は金で型をつけて。
Okay, so this guy's wife as well?
その中でそれでは済まなかった事例があった。ルーシー・フェリア、地元の農夫ジェファーソン・ホープと結婚を誓い合った仲だったが、彼女も行方不明の後、亡骸だけが戻ってきた。その体にはおぞましい傷跡がいくつも残っていたとのことだ。
なんとも痛ましい話だな。だとすると真犯人は。
ああ、そのジェファーソン・ホープこそが伯爵殺しの犯人であり、そしてこの辻馬車の魚車だ。ビンゴだろホープ。
驚いたな。そこまで調べ上げていたとは。
ジョン、殺人犯が狩る馬車に乗るなんてなかなか経験できない。
待て、指輪のルーシーという名がジェファーソン・ホープにつながる人物だとして、それだけじゃこの魚車がホープってことにはならないんじゃないか。
それはそうだ。俺はこの事件を2つの線から推理した。一つは今話した指輪、もう一つは車輪の跡だ。あの晩は
Wheel
おか
tracks.
げではっきりと跡が残っててくれた。あの通りは皆大型の2棟建て4輪馬車持ちの貴族の家ばかりだが、唯一伯爵家の前にだけ車輪の狭い小さな辻馬車が
That's okay.
馬車で現れて殺人を犯し、そのまま乗って帰るバカな客なんていない。乗り降りの際に魚車に姿を見られちまうんだからね。
Unless they were the driver themselves.
犯人はそうした危険を全く顧みる必要がないもの。つまり辻馬車を買ってきた魚車本人。そこでイレギュラーズに次の条件に当てはまるものを探させた。辻馬車の魚車、太い指を持つ大男、そして事件当日3番地へ行った者。すぐに一人の男が浮かび上がった。
それがジェファーソン・ホープ。
そしてレストレードの報告にもホープの名があった。トマ、お前にたどり着くのは
But how does that mean that he will arrive here? So again, is the ring a fake?
なぜあんな荒いやり口でドレッバーを殺した？お前に授けられた計画はもっと周到で美しいものだったんじゃないのか？
確かにもっと手際よくやるはずだった。だがいざ奴をドレッバーを目の前にするとな。
Huh. Okay. So basically they're playing this out as kind of lost control.
ルーシーを殺したも同然だ。そんな相手を前に冷静でいられると思うか。 私と一つ取引しないか。
He wants to turn himself in return for some justice?
ジェファーソン・ホープ、目的を果たしたというならもういいじゃないか。おとなしく自首したまえ。
自首か。ご覧の通り、私はもう長くはない。すでに死んでいるも同然なんだよ。それゆえ、あのお方に命を差し出した。
それで取引の条件は？
とても簡単なことだ。貴族の戯れによって人生が破滅した私という男の物語を終わらせること。つまり、あんたがこの私を殺すことだ。ドレッバーの悪行を暴いたあんたの手で死ねるなら本望だ。
あいつ
ルーシーの指輪を取り返してくれたものだ。私の人生を終わらせてくれれば、奴がお前にあの方のことを教える約束になっている。
自分が死んだ後のことまで考えてくれてる。
Sherlock's gonna refuse. He's gonna be like, I'll figure it out myself.
そうとも。あのお方は本当にすごい。言われた通りの時間にドレッバーの屋敷に行くと、まるで魔法のように扉は開き、邪魔者は誰一人いなかったんだ。まさに犯罪の天才だよ。あのお方はあんたを高く買っているぞ。現場に名を残させ、事件を解決できるか試させるほどにな。
目的は何だ？どうしてそんな手の込んだ真似を？
それ以上は私を殺してから聞くんだな。
けど俺は今のとこ逃走中の容疑者なんだぜ。お前を殺したらこのまま俺はお尋ね者だ。
心配するな。俺を撃てば奴がお前に都合のいい証言をする目撃者を用意してくれる手はずになっている。どうだ、お前にとってもいい話だ。この選択は互いにとってメリットしかない。よく考えろ。
I think Sherlock's not going to do it just because of his own.
なるほど。そういうことなら安心だな。やめろ、シャーロック。こんなのは間違ってる。なぜだ？俺にとってもこいつにとってもいいことしかねえけど。それでもダメだ。そんなことをしたら取り返しがつかないぞ。
聞くな、ホームズ。お前は謎を求める男ならば、答えは決まりきっているはずだ。思考の謎を生み出すあのお方のことを知りたいんだろう。さあ俺を撃て。そうすればお前は。
銃を下ろせ、シャーロック。やめろー。バーカ、殺すわけねえじゃん。
なぜだ。あのお方のことを知りたくないのか。
お前、俺のこと全然分かってねえ。何が教えてやる。
Yeah, he wants to figure out himself.
いいか、謎ってのは自分で解いてこそなんだよ。他人から答えを教えられて面白いわけねえだろ、このタゴ。よかった。本当によかった。
I don't think...
シャーロック。なんだション、一瞬でも君のことを疑った僕を許してくれ。分かったからやめろ。すまんな、ホープ。お前の最後の願いを叶え
諸君、紹介するぜ。彼こそイーノック・J・ドレッバー伯爵殺害の真犯人、ジェファーソン・ホープだ。
ホームズ貴様。
ホームズ。約束は果たしたぜ、レストレード。
I feel like he shouldn't, be he shouldn't be making such a big ruckus and all that. That would basically be, telling the world that Lestrade actually cut a deal with a suspect.
今回のオーディションは最大の効果を生んだ。僕が試したかったのはホームズの資質。それは彼が目的のためには手段を選ばない人間かどうかということ。
俺たちの情報を目の前にぶら下げられても、奴はホープの提案に乗らなかった。
兄さんの分析では、事件の背後で糸を引く者に強い興味を持っているはずだった。なのに彼は殺さなかった。僕たちのように目的のために手段を選ばない人間ではない。つまり適格者ということですね。
He's worthy? Of what?
僕たちがロンドンを舞台に演じる犯罪劇を解き明かす役を担うことになる。
What? They're going to...
この世の闇に光を照らす。主人公になってもらおう。
This is what they're going for? Holy shit.
Sherlock Holmes.
So basically they're going to utilize Holmes as a way of exposing the corruption within the nobles as well, as part of solving the crime. So in doing this, they're also... Oh yeah, his diary. The adventures of Sherlock Holmes were told on the perspective of Watson, right? I recall. Alright, see you guys after this. Okay, well, this was certainly a surprise. I was not expecting them to actually go this kind of direction in terms of the interaction between Moriarty and Sherlock. That was the question I postulated at the beginning of this episode, and here it is answered, right? So this actually ties in with something that I touched upon at the very beginning of this series, right? While we were going... Well, actually, not at the very beginning of the series. Once we knew of the background of the Moriarty brothers and, how they took over the name and so on and so forth. And indeed, there are some mentions in the comments as well as to how there is a slight difference between what the manga depicts and what the anime depicts. But basically, I think I made the argument pretty early on that, hey, this is a situation where even though we obviously are rooting for Moriarty and he's the protagonist of this series, very clearly he is still on the wrong side of the law, right? He's still a criminal. He's still morally questionable in a way. And indeed, he himself already says, right, I will stop at nothing to achieve my goals. And I thought this was going to turn into the big conflict sooner or later, right? So I was thinking of it more akin to a sort of Death Note kind of situation where, even though you are standing behind this protagonist character, he has some flaws, right? The protagonist has some flaws, and so the antagonist, even though they are an antagonist, they're actually on a side of justice and whatnot, and are eventually going to be bringing them in. So in this case, however, they actually did not go with that. Moriarty is fully aware that what he's doing can't exactly be called right in any sort of way, morally or legally, and so that is why he recognizes this, and that's why he wants to set up this other character to really shine through, and that is Sherlock, right? So, this actually makes this, instead of a sort of ongoing conflict between these two, more in a case of Moriarty is actively working to prop Sherlock up in so that he can achieve what Moriarty and the others can already not achieve, right? They've already resigned to the fact that they are going to go down in history as the bad guys, but they just want to accomplish their goals. And so what I'm assuming is going to happen in the future is they are going to continue to set up these various different crimes, either directly related or indirectly related to the corrupt nobility and whatnot. Sherlock is going to come in and help solve the crimes, and in the process also expose the crimes of the nobility and whatnot. And it's going to have this sort of back and forth, right? Because eventually they want Sherlock to be able to expose the crimes of the nobility and whatnot, and act as a hero for the common people, so that they can rise up and rebel against the system or something of that sort. Whereas Moriarty and the others are content to live behind in the shadows. It's really brilliant in a way, right? Because it basically, it basically also ties back completely with the Sherlock Holmes story as well, by saying that, hey, all of this stuff that you're doing, it's actually, we the Moriartys were part of all of this, and so that's why eventually, we are viewed as the bad guys, and yet the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the stories of Sherlock Holmes, continues to exist to this day, and so on and so forth, because we set it up that way, right? It's really a unique kind of way of setting this up, and it actually makes a lot of sense as well. Both in terms of the setting for a story, and logically from what they are trying to do as well. And so you really, in this kind of instance, there's really nothing else you can do but root for Moriarty and the others, right? Because they clearly know what they're doing is wrong as well. So that's why they propose an alternative entity, an alternative avatar to carry on their will from the light side, or the correct side of the law. So, though something tells me that Sherlock is not going to be too happy once he learns the truth to all this, and I've no doubt that he will learn the truth to all this sometime later down the road, and that is probably going to result in the going back into the actual Sherlock Holmes stories, where he has his eventual showdown with the Moriartys, right? I think, what's it called again? The final problem? Or the final case, or something like that? The very last case, originally the very last case of Sherlock Holmes. Until then, he was supposed to die there, but then he was brought back to life due to public pressure. I can't wait to see how this series actually handles that situation, though I have a sneaking suspicion it's not going to happen in this season, right? We're probably going to have to go into... That's probably something that would only happen near the end of the entire series, near the end of the manga series. So, but still, continuing on though, how exactly are we going to go forward with this story? So, is Sherlock going to be involved in every single case that the Moriarty set up from now on? So I think we might get into to both sides as well. So you're actively working to basically... Well, I do hope that Moriarty doesn't really give too many clues to Sherlock or anything, right? We'll have to see how they exactly do this, because I would hate to see Sherlock actually, being able to solve his cases because of deliberate clues left behind by Moriarty. I feel like that kind of takes away from Sherlock. Like, don't get me wrong, this is Moriarty's story and all that, but we don't want to discredit Sherlock, right? We don't want to discredit his deduction abilities and whatnot. So, I guess we got 3 episodes left from now on. Maybe one last final arc or something like that. Or maybe 2, hard to say. So I do wonder how exactly they're going to set it up, and potentially, not potentially, I hope that they set it up in a case where, the Moriartys are just going to do whatever they want to continue to do, as they have done, with no regard towards Sherlock, and then maybe at most arranging a way so that Sherlock is involved in the case in some way, and so he can just go to town, do his work, and but still, it's whether he can solve it or not is still completely on Sherlock himself, right? So yeah, that's pretty much for this really interesting way of utilizing the story and all that. I was actually certain that they would continue to have this sort of good versus bad kind of conflict here, but no, they're just Moriartys are just like they are the They are the real deal of this particular story, of this particular adaptation. Or, I can't really say adaptation, right? This particular reimagination of the Sherlock Holmes stories. So, anyways, that's it for episode 9 of Yuukoku no Moriarty. Thank you guys. I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.